weekdays only, but you have to get online. If you didn't get one of those emails, contact the center and they will send you the information, because you have to get your tickets in advance via internet. Also, we are going to have our new class training open house tomorrow. If you want to be invited, you need to contact Melinda. Send her an email, Melinda Pajak, training@ctmn.org. So those things are coming up. We've got, I think Frank said we have 46 people have expressed interest in this training. So it's
wow.
That's great.
46, is that right, Frank?
48, but who's counting?
A lot. Yeah, that's good. Very good. Any other announcements about anything going on? Any special volunteer activities? If everybody knows, we have chat. If you have questions, you can address those up in the chat room as things are going on. We're getting ready to start our program here in a moment.
All right, well, I'm going to mute everybody, so you can talk all you want, but you're going to be muted.
Right,
so,
thanks,
sorry about that, and then I will unmute myself and then talk a little bit about Karen here. So, let's try this. All right, I think everybody's muted except for me. Y'all can hear me, right? Just shake your heads. All right, good. Okay, so Karen is our speaker tonight, and she happens to be my boss, so I'll say some really nice things about her because I kind of have to. So she is not a Texan. She grew up in Southern California. She likes to think she's a Texan, but we kind of adopted her. So she went to Cal State University, Fullerton. She's got a degree in psychology and a minor in marine biology. And she's kind of worked all over the place. She's worked in California. She worked at SeaWorld San Antonio. She went to the Oregon Zoo. And then she decided, you know, Texas is pretty awesome. So she came back and she worked at Sea Life when they started opening. So what she is going to talk about is World Oceans Day, which just happened a few days ago. And I am going to unmute her and she can unmute herself apparently.
I just unmuted
and let her go at it. So welcome, Karen.
Thanks, and hi everyone. Thank you for having me. This is an interesting way to do a presentation, so bear with me because I think you guys are all better at the computer than I am. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and hopefully host disabled my participant screen sharing. So now I need Krista, and a little bit while she's trying to do that. Yeah, I absolutely love Texas. What brought me back here? I was actually married here in Louisville, Texas, and what brought me back was having a little granddaughter. So we were in Oregon when that happened, and we wanted to watch her grow up. So she's over there in Fort Worth, and we're back here and just delighted about it, and definitely love Texas. Learned all of the traditions, but maybe not. I'm still learning. There, I think, Krista, I think I got it.
Okay, see if that worked.
There we go. Can everybody see that? Maybe give Krista a chat of some sort.
Yeah, I can see it, Karen.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to play this from the beginning. Hopefully. There we go. All righty. So Krista already did the introductions, and there is some drop downs coming up. We don't need that. I'm not going to leave your meeting since we just joined it. So I grew up in Southern California, as Krista mentioned, and before I even knew what World Oceans Day was, I was very drawn to the ocean. When I was probably about 7 or 8 years old, we started going 3 times a week every summer. And what was really cool is I learned how to surf, and I learned how to boogie board and do everything in the ocean. or around the ocean. And in Huntington Beach, the dolphins would come in, and it was a really cool experience for me. He made a huge impact, and probably when between the age of 7 and 10, my folks took me to SeaWorld in there in San Diego, and that pretty much did it. And from that age, I knew exactly what I wanted to do the rest of my life, and just knew I was going to dedicate the rest of my life to these wonderful animals and creatures of the ocean, and it's been a great career so far. And what's exciting for me is that I get to share that passion every day with our visitors, and today I get to share that with you. And hopefully it will forward the slide. Okay. Not sure why that's not forwarding like normal. Let's try again. See if we can go use this little doohickey. There we go. So a little bit of history about World Oceans Day. In 1970, there was the first Earth Day was celebrated. So we just finished celebrating the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. And around 1987, there was a commission that was formed, and they really realized that the ocean really should have its own day, its own sector, because it really lacked a strong voice and a lot of support, and yet it's the largest part of the globe. So the concept started to take hold, and in 1992 in Canada, the Canadian Center for Ocean Development. I kind of like the fact that it's ICOD because cod is a fish, so I thought that was kind of funny. But it was really, really cool that that the Earth Day Summit, first Earth Day Summit was in Rio de Janeiro, or one of those Earth Day Summits was in Rio de Janeiro, and it really drew people to the idea of Earth Day. I'm sorry, of World Oceans Day. However, it took a long time to get that thing off the ground, but in 2008, the UN General Assembly finally recognized June 8th as World Oceans Day, and since then we've been celebrating it ever since. So that's been really cool. Today, again, we've officially celebrated since 2009. The United Nations helped us there. It is an international day of support, and it's really great to see it's a global effort. And the basic focus is sustainable development and fostering public interest to manage our oceans properly. The day is marked in a variety of ways. For us at a zoo or an aquarium, we do special events. We often will do a beach cleanup. We are very involved in education and conservation. And sustainable seafood is a huge deal, especially at Monterey Bay Aquarium. Many of us are part of the Seafood Watch program there. So that's really a big deal for for any aquarium, oceanarium, zoo. There's other people that get involved. A lot of people that are around the beaches will participate as well. But it does hold a great significance for us, and it specifically holds a huge significance for our future generations. What's really interesting is that the youth have become increasingly more interested and have played a bigger and bigger role since 2015. And there is now a World Oceans Day Youth Advisory Council, and they are leading conservation efforts. And there'll be more on that at the very end if I can get the video to play and if you folks could hear it, which will be really happy, make me happy. So who is Sea Life, and how do we fit in this global effort? Well, I wanted to give you a short history about how Sea Life was developed at first. And I don't even know if Krista knows this, but in 1869, a gentleman by the name of Eugenius Birch actually conceived the first aquarium in the UK, and that became a huge focus. And back then, they didn't even really know what they were doing to care for fish, but they felt it was really important that we focus on something that was the ocean versus the zoos that they had there in the UK. It was quite an expensive project, and basically, you'll see that our parent company is Merlin Entertainments, and I'm going to show you how we got there. The gentleman and the aquarium ran into financial difficulties, but they were able to, a company called Brighton Corporation bought it out and carried out extensive reconstruction work. And it changed a lot of Birch's original design. The aquarium was reopened in 1929, but it didn't really have an identity and people didn't really understand what it was. But in 1991, a little company called Sea Life bought the aquarium, and it was the very first aquarium, and then they restored that aquarium. And so our company actually existed before Merlin Entertainments, or Sea Life actually existed before Merlin Entertainments. In 1998, Merlin Entertainments was founded, and Sea Life became one of its cornerstone brands. And now there's 55 Sea Lifes around globally, and we will soon have 9 here in North America. The others are in Australia, Asia, and Europe. The company operates a whole lot of different attractions. It's 2 big coastal ones on both the east and west coast are Legoland theme parks. We've got the small Legoland Discovery Center here in the Grapevine and many other cities. We're really big about Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, and Dungeons brand is huge in the UK. We have one currently in San Francisco. For any of you who have ever seen any television show or movie where they show an aerial view of the London, it's called the London Eye. That's our Ferris wheel. I won't probably ever go on it. I'm not huge on heights. I'm happy to dive, just don't like to be up high. We also have a few castles. Our biggest named one is Warwick Castle. And our newest brands are Bear Grylls Adventure Park and Peppa Pig. We had the first Peppa Pig here in Grapevine, so that's really cool. We are the second leading attraction in visitor volume behind Disney. Now, Disney is like way, way above my head, and then we're down here, but it's something for us to be proud of as a company. So we're really pleased about that. And our mission statement aligns perfectly with World Oceans Day and that concept for Sea Life. And since 1872, every day is World Oceans Day at a Sea Life Aquarium. And our mission statement is, by sharing the beauty of our oceans and the creatures that live in them, we inspire our guests to join in working to protect marine life for generations to come. And if you notice, that is generations to come. We are a huge impact on the future, and we want to make that our contribution. So some of our goals is giving children the first look into the wonders of an undersea world. If you ever come to a Sea Life, our displays, oops, I don't know how that happened, but we're going to go backwards now that I finally figured that out. Our displays are very low. Children can investigate our aquarium all by themselves. They don't need to be held up by their parents, and that's really neat. We have brightly colored theming around our displays. Some people think it looks like a bunch of clowns that did the decoration, but that's how kids get involved and learn, is the brightness of our attractions. We are smaller attractions, generally about 50,000 square feet, and we often try to meet the interactive needs of our children. And then what we do is, by having fun, we slip in conservation messages and education messages. And our big message is breed, rescue, protect. Here at Sea Life Grapevine, just because we're in a small mall and we're a small facility, we can still impact conservation. We are a member of AZA. We just were accredited for a second time last year. We hold several state and federal permits. We're part of various stud books that you see there, and a stud book is basically the lineage of various animals that are not just born in captivity, but raised in a captive environment. And that's so as we can study their heritage as these animals do reproduce in a captive environment. We partnership with a lot of other facilities, one of which, and aquariums, to do a lot of different things. One of the biggest impacts we do is Seafood Watch, and that is basically allowing people to make sustainable food choices. And you can jump on seafoodwatch.com. There's a shameless plug there, and that will help you make sustainable food choices. You can get an app if you like seafood. There's nothing wrong with eating it. We just ask that you do it sustainably. We do a lot of captive breeding programs, and what we do by raising these animals in a captive environment and sharing them with other aquariums, it reduces the amount of animals that we actually pull from the wild. So we're very proud of our programs. We do a lot of working in the wild. Krista has actually gotten a chance to go to 2 different places, both Bali and Curacao, to teach people sustainable fishing. And also, I'll talk a little bit more about the Curacao trip here in a minute. And then we've got our rescue programs as well. And I don't have a clue as to how that beautiful gold line got there, but at least it's a Merlin color or sea life color, so we're just going to go with it. These are some of our breeding programs, just illustrated in photographs. The 2 on the left are how we breed baby jellyfish. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but right here is a small baby chrysal. And the, I don't want to call it hatched, but for lack of a better word, we hatch out the little jellies, they move through and end up into this large chrysal where they grow. And then we send those out to different aquariums, including we put some of them on display ourselves. We also breed baby epaulets. These are a lot of eggs. This is what the babies look like. They're very small when they come out, maybe 3 inches long. And we've got, I think, 7 to 9 of these babies that are growing up right now and ready to go out. Krista is actually trying to source new homes for them. The upper right-hand corner is, you can't really see it, not a very good picture, but we've been breeding baby clownfish for a long time. And then we are extremely proud of our ray breeding process. We have, over 9 years, I think we've bred 15 or more baby coolie rays, blue spotted rays, and those guys go out to various other aquariums and become part of another breeding routine there. So it's very, very great for us to be known for a lot of our breeding programs. Another thing that we are very proud of is how we protect our, not just our environment, but the animals. We give homes to a lot of U.S. Fish and Wildlife and state seized animals. The photograph on the upper left is a little girl looking at our piranha display. Now, piranhas are illegal to house in the state of Texas. And we have been fortunate to receive quite a few piranha and give them a good home here at our aquarium. Krista's been very involved in the coral breeding or any seized coral that we have. She is very big on culturing that and not only sharing that with our own guests, but cultivating that to share with other aquariums. So again, we try really hard not to, we try really hard to create a sustainable resource within our attractions. And then we've got the interactive experiences combined with our education. Our Sea Life Trust, whom I'll speak about in a little bit, funded our Conservation Cove, which speaks highly to our conservation efforts within sea lives around the globe. But we can't do anything without an education element. We spend a lot of time, we have a full education team that are highly trained. They not only just give formal talks, but they work within our, work with the children on their interactives and quiz trails. We also, as aquarists and the education team, we do non-formal discussions just as we walk through. And we make sure that our guests know when the staff are feeding, so that it's a really great time for our guests to ask questions while they watch the animals eat. We offer school workshops. We do a lot of off-site outreach. We've gone on several hospital visits and do a lot of community outreach events. And then we do a lot of visiting with groups like yourselves. This is the first one I've done on an interactive forum like this. And so far, hopefully it's going well for you guys. Part of our working in the wild is really, I think, really impressive. We've joined our brothers and sisters zoos and aquariums around the globe in support of doing research, and everything we learn we can take back and make things better in our environment, especially with the breeding. But still, sadly, animals are still going extinct. Our vaquita, they're in Mexico, are probably next on the list. I don't think that there's very many of those animals left, although we're doing everything we can. Some things that I've personally been involved with at the zoo, at the Oregon Zoo that I worked with, were the California condor, the western pond turtle, and various rhino species. And without a zoo getting involved, these animals would be on the extinct list, especially the California condor and the western pond turtle. They were pretty much dead on arrival when we got them, but we were able to bring them back, which is a very proud moment for zoos and aquariums. Um, Most zoos and aquariums are funded, both not-for-profit or for-profit, are funded through their own budgets and through their gates. And we're able to do a lot more by sending some of our gate tickets to our own trust, which is called the Sea Life Trust. They've been in the news a lot lately, especially with our beluga project. We purchased an aquarium that in China that had belugas, and we don't believe in cetaceans in an aquarium or living in not basically in less of a wild area than they possibly can. So we created a beluga whale sanctuary, and we've got the 2 belugas were actually successfully moved from China overseas, and that's doing quite well. They're in Iceland currently, and soon we'll be moving when the weather changes into their new habitat. But we also work very hand in hand with AZA. AZA has created a collaborative goal called SAFE, Saving Animals from Extinction. And it's a cooperative effort between several agencies and zoos and aquariums around the world to work on very specific populations. And we are proud to be a part of that. And like I said, we've joined those efforts. We have made our biggest impact in the following, and I've listed some of our sister sites here in the U.S. and some of the things that they're doing. The coral restoration study with Curacao and Maldives, and then the Florida Reef Track Project. I don't know if many of you know, but Florida's corals are dying, and zoos and aquariums are making space for them to try to save those corals, and then our hope is that someday we can repopulate Florida with the corals that they have from our own stores here. Michigan's gotten involved with a variety of different fish. Carlsbad has done a lot with shark studies. They're off the coast, and it's easy for them because they're right there in the Pacific Ocean. A lot of invasive species removal. Sea Life Orlando actually went to Cuba and released a turtle that was from its shores. And we were involved with a little Kemp's Ridley sea turtle called Flip. And about 6 or 7 years ago, we got involved with one of our sister Sea Lives in the Netherlands. And that little turtle left Texas and somehow found its way to the Netherlands. And our sister Sea Life nursed that animal back to health. And then we were instrumental in bringing that animal back to Texas and worked with a group there called the ARC on the coast of Texas. And we were able to release that animal, and it was really great. We had a little tracker on it, and we were able to share that with school kids, and they got to watch and track that animal every day for about 3 months until the tracker fell off. We are involved in countless lake cleanups and water quality monitoring here in Grapevine. We do that. And again, like I mentioned, we take the seized animals. So that's, we make room in our collections to do that. And then we educate the public on why these animals should not be in a household aquarium. And these are just a few things that we do. You can see we do a lot of water testing. We did a walk across the oceans where we walked around the mall. We do our own lake beach cleanups here. We try to do at least 4 to 6 of those a year. get involved in the community outreach, and we bring a little touch pool and go to a variety of places and work with the kids to let them touch sea stars and teach them about various animals in the ocean, bringing jaws and stuff together for them to see and touch. And this is Curacao, and I know this is my presentation, but I'm happy to turn this over to Krista for about 2 minutes if she really would like to share what she did there, because it was pretty incredible. You have, there you go.
It's not my presentation, just your presentation.
That's what I said. It's my presentation, but I'd like her to talk about something because I'm very proud of her and what she did here.
You didn't show me this part when you showed me the rest of it. God, Karen.
I know, I hit it.
Yeah, so last summer I went to Curacao, and which I think Carrie gave me a lot of grief about. But yeah, so we went and did coral spawn for a type of brain coral, and that's on the endangered species list. And the picture that you see in the just under the clownfish is how we collect the coral spawn. And I'm giving a big thumbs up because my tube got the most spawn. So the coral actually puts the spawn out in little packets that's both male and female gametes. And so after that, it spawns at about 6:30 at night. And that's right, Chris, it is a tough job. It was hard to do Curacao for 3 weeks while my team slaved away at work. But they spawn at about 6:30 at night, and then you end up working all night in the lab. So it's very weird, but the picture right below that of what looks like little beans is actually the first cell division, which happens about an hour and a half after they fertilize. After that, it goes really, really fast. Kind of going to the left of the cell division picture is me with my test tubes. I'm super happy because that was the first night of spawn. And basically, I'm holding a bunch of coral sperm and eggs. So yay, yay for reproduction. And then I'm doing water changes. The coral babies kind of get to a point where the larvae is wanting to settle on something. So we put all these, in the green picture, you can kind of see them a little better. We call them tetrapods. And I'm shining a light, but there's a bunch of fluorescent green specks. And those are individual coral babies. Those are the settlers. So we ended up putting about almost 300,000 coral babies back out on the reef, and that was just what we could actually work with in the lab. We liberated millions more just because we didn't have enough space in the lab. So it was a very rewarding project for us. So it was pretty awesome. There you go, Karen.
Cool. Thank you, Krista. So this is also about how you folks can help. And I think that as Master Naturalist, I've been in and out of the program. I've never been a Master Naturalist, but I know a lot of people who have, and I've actually been to one of your meetings talking with Krista when she gave a presentation. But you folks are out there every day helping and talking to people, and it's huge. And as we said, that it was June 8th, but again, we've got next June 8th, so you can make every day about the ocean, as well as some other things that you talk about. And that's where we're trying to give you the power to share what you can do. And this is some information that you can share. A lot of people don't really recognize how important the ocean is to us, even though, we are a very inland city. But the biggest thing that is an eye-opener is the ocean is responsible for about 70% of the Earth's oxygen. And the rainforest, by comparison, it being second, is only responsible for 28%. And the rainforests are very important and are their own ecosystem like the ocean is. But the same properties that the rainforest offers, the ocean does, but tenfold. There's so many medications that we've had. It's a food source for us. It's how we transport most or a lot of our goods gets on ships. We all enjoy getting out there, boating, kayaking, surfing, etc. But it's a billion-dollar economy and a huge part of how America works. And again, that climate regulation is a big deal. And so without the ocean, it's I don't think any of us would be here for too long. So I lost my little cursor. There it is. Um, some of the things that people don't recognize or realize is that anything we do inland physically trickles down to the sea. All of our freshwater resource or sources eventually lead to the ocean, and any pollutants that we have here in Dallas or Fort Worth will eventually trickle themselves down and become devastating. It does come in many forms. Recycling is a big deal, especially plastics. You don't know how many times Krista and I talk to people about the plastic that we see in sea turtles, including our straws, but it can save more than sea turtles. There's a bag that's just on one of our corals, and it's basically could damage the coral to a point where it's not repairable. It's often linked to surface pollution, but plastic sinks, and it really is creating devastating effects. So these are some individual actions that you as master naturalists could, even if you just shared one of these points and memorized one of these points that actually speaks to you. I'm not going to go down every single one of them, but I'll pick out a few. The sustainability of our seafood is a huge deal. We are overfishing our oceans at a tremendous rate. And I think that one of the things that we really like to share is the Seafood Watch app. And then another thing that is really important is choosing eco-friendly detergents, especially things that you use to wash your dishes or your hair, because everything that you rinse down the drain gets into our water sources. And then if a person changes their motor oil, they need to dispose of it properly for the very same reason. That could be catastrophic to all the way down our waterways. Lawn care products, basically the same thing. Think about using non-toxic lawn care products and a lot of compost if you can. I think something that people don't really recognize is what we're putting on our bodies for sunscreen. It's a huge culprit of ocean pollution. The chemicals in the sunscreen are very damaging to marine life and reefs especially, but they're also damaging to us. They are absorbed by our skin, and even if we're just using them by the pool, when we take a shower, that stuff runs right off of us. But the things that are that are not great for us, it's been tested, and it's actually found in our urine, and then eventually entering the water table that way through the flushing of our toilets. So we can't get away from it. We just need to be a little smarter in what we do and what we use. Sea Life and World Oceans Day, World Oceans Day specifically, was created to encourage action. This year's theme was an innovation for a sustainable ocean. And one of the challenges that people were given were doing what we call a 30 by 30 challenge. And it's about protecting 30% of our ocean and land sooner rather than later. And allowing our children to actually have an ocean that they can call home. There's so many direct benefits, and we have to work together to take action now. So the whole idea is by 2030, if we can safeguard at least 30% of our oceans through protected areas, we can ensure help for all. And if anything, if you guys have your cameras on your phones, take a picture of this, and that way you guys can snap a photo and go to these home pages, and that I'll leave it up here for just a second, and that way you folks can learn a little bit more about World Oceans Day and the 30 on 30 challenge. 30 by 30 challenge. And I'll give you about 5 more seconds. And I know that this is being recorded, so I think that Krista and folks can get that to you. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to share is our hope for the future. This is really a great community with you guys, with aquariums, and I am part of a group called, Krista didn't share this with you, but my favorite animal is a sea otter. And every other year we hold an international sea otter workshop at the Seattle Aquarium. And 4 years ago, 6 years ago now, a young group of kids wanted to do a presentation to us, and they were called Heirs to Our Oceans. 2 years after that, they came back and showed us how really serious they were. And they'd all grown up, and we've been watching these kids grow, and they are making a huge impact. So I'm going to take off of this screen here and see if I can get this to come up on YouTube. What I may have to do is pull out my my deal here. Hold on. We don't want to do that. And I might have to go to the computer mic to finish this up. So bear with me here, and hopefully this will start. And I'm hopeful you.
I don't know if she froze up.
What is
Or,
what I see today is really scary. So many people don't know patients are facing.
Karen,
I think
we can't see it.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
All right, let me try to share my screen again, and we'll see. I'm going to try to share my screen again with the Zoom, because that probably is where we got knocked off. All right. Okay, I think I'm back. Krista, you got it?
Share again.
We're good?
No.
So you can't see. Let's see. Okay, now,
Okay.
yes?
Yeah.
Okay, let me try playing that again. Were you guys able to at least hear it? Hopefully I still have the same one. All right. Here we go. Technical difficulties. Okay.
We just can't hear it now, Karen.
Okay.
What is the future of our oceans? What I see today is really scary. So many people don't know patients are facing ocean. I think we are running on the channel to look at these really bad.
We can barely hear it.
To our oceans.
We'll email the link out, Karen.
For our generation, for the next generation, for the generation.
Hey, Karen, we'll email the link out.
Kids,
Say it again.
We'll email the link out.
Okay, perfect. I think you can still hear me. I apologize for that. I was hoping that this would play, but it's really inspirational. I would hope that you guys all can go to this and take a look. because for us, we're about the future, and I think that you folks are as well. And I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised at how the next generation is moving on through. So
I am pretty much done with my presentation. And Krista, if you wanted to, if there's time for questions, you can help take those.
Yeah, Karen, I don't know if you can see the chat or not, but we're kind of directing people to use the chat for questions.
Right.
But do you have a favorite tablet or product to refill plastic hand soap dispensers?
We are currently using I think it's Pure Cell at work for hand sanitizer dispensers, and it's a sustainable product, and we use that at Sea Life.
And Karen, I don't know if you can copy and paste that link, but if you can copy and paste that link into the chat for that YouTube video. I know someone asked if you could put that YouTube link into the chat so they could click on it.
I will try that.
Otherwise, I'll email it
I
out.
think it would be better if you emailed it out, and it will be in the video or the recording as well. So you'll just have to copy and paste it. Let me see. Yeah, you're asking a little more than I know what to do. I got the share screen. I got everything else. Walmart, yeah, I wish. We have not done that. We would love to not use bags, especially those people that double bag. But it's up to us to bring our own bags, and hopefully we can create that movement.
Yeah, we can email the copy out to we can email the copy to, if you want, Bill or Frank or whoever. Maybe we can just email the PowerPoint out to the members if you want. I don't know how we want to do that, but we can figure that out.
Sunscreen would you suggest? Believe it or not, that's a really good question. You have to read the backs of your labels and go online. Different people are allergic to different things. Personally, I'm a fairly dark-skinned person that doesn't spend a whole lot of time outside. So I usually wear long sleeves and cover myself up when I'm going to be out for a long period of time, especially like we traditionally wear a wetsuit. So I rarely use sunscreen for the very reason that I have a lot of allergies. So it is a good question though. Not baby oil, I can tell you that.
There's one called, I think it's called like Bare Essentials.
I think that one's pretty good.
Really good, and I have used that a lot, and I really like it. It's really good. It does this. You can get it in a spray can if you're so inclined, or the lotion.
But like the copper tones and those are the old-fashioned ones that we all used forever, are not very good for our environment.
Any more questions? Going once? Going twice? All right. Oh,
Okay.
wait, no, wait.
I'll let Coral answer that one. She's our coral queen.
Well, we don't collect any coral. We try to.
That's correct.
We either try to get from already captive propagated from other aquariums, or like what we have in our coral propagation system is seized from U.S. Fish and Wildlife. And I believe in there right now, we've got in our propagation system, we've probably got, I think, like a dozen different species, but in our coral displays, we have probably 35 different species of coral. Ooh, that's a tough question. The
That's a
future,
really tough, yeah,
the
really
future
tough
home of
question.
the Barrier Reef. I will take a optimistic outlook. Going off of especially talking to the people in the Caribbean and Curacao that we were working with. The Caribbean really just over the past 15 years really went through a mass bleaching event. And in areas like Curacao has some of the healthiest reefs in the Caribbean. And there are corals that will find a way. It may not be what we're used to seeing, but there, you know, Jeff Goldblum said it in Jurassic Park, life finds a way. There will be stuff that survives. There will be reefs in the future. It just may not be as diverse. And it certainly won't be as abundant right now. But there will be stuff that lives.
Well, and we're also learning a lot from the Florida Reef Track project. They're learning because the scientists are forced to learn how they can protect the coral, and some of their efforts are actually starting to bear fruit. So
Yeah.
the biggest challenges for the corals is the scientists need the funding to be able to do what they do best, and so a lot of aquariums are trying to get involved in raising that kind of money to
And
help these folks.
people are more aware of the problem too now
It's local.
than they ever have been. So that also makes a difference. uh, that's a long, Morgan, that's a question that is probably would take too long for me to answer. Yes, Morgan, yes, we'll talk about that in person one day.
I didn't see the question, so I'll let you handle it.
Sculptural coral substrates.
Oh, okay.
But yes, we can do some plastic tips for everybody on how to reduce your plastic with soaps and whatnot. I know one thing that we do at home is we'll buy, like, you know, I have a soap container, a small soap container that I've had for years that I bulk buy soap and I just refill that one soap container, so I don't have like a 5-gallon thing of soap on my sink. Karen, you probably know more about salmon farming than I do.
Basically, I know that the salmon in the Pacific Northwest is sustainable, but I, just like you, don't. I would have to go on to this seafood watch. I don't eat a whole lot of fish, to be fair. I do like smoked salmon, and that's about all I'll eat. So I have to look. Just like you folks, I don't have the whole charts memorized. And the really great thing about the Seafood Watch program is I personally have seen things that were in the red because people are no longer purchasing them, and our money speaks volumes. They are not fishing those animals any longer, and they have moved into the yellow, and there have been some yellows that have moved into the green. So it's a 3-step process. Red is don't eat it. Yellow is you can eat it, do a little bit of research. How did they get it? And then green is what they really want you to buy. And I've seen fish move over the 15 years or so that the Monterey's been sponsoring this program. Move because again, it's all about our wallets. And what's even more impressive is it's a bilingual program. The cards are done both in English and Spanish, and we hand those out to a lot of our bilingual guests, as well as the other sea lifes, and pretty much every zoo and aquarium is part of this program. So we are getting the message out there.
Well, thank you, Karen, for
My pleasure.
letting me twist your arm to come talk to us.
I enjoy speaking with you folks. I've seen a lot of your faces at Krista's presentation, and thanks for having me. I hope that you at least took something away to maybe help us join in the fight to get people to make some changes to their lives. So appreciate you having me. I'll
Thanks,
let you
Karen.
all get on to your own meeting, and I'm going to leave, and I'll make sure that Krista has all that information to send off to y'all. All right, bye-bye.
Bye, Karen.
All right,
Bill,
thank you.
it's all yours.
That was great. Very good. Krista, thank you for twisting her arm. I don't think you had to do twist very hard, does it look like? So, okay, does anybody have anything we need to, we're not, since unfortunately, Josephine, we don't have a raffle, so we can't sell tickets.
No raffle?
No raffle, yeah. So just send your money to Josephine and she'll send you a prize. Oh, but again, thank you all for making this possible. We'll get better at this. It's not, it's a new and different way of doing business. So, and things are opening up, volunteer opportunities. So get outside, do something. And if you're available, come listen in tomorrow night about our open house for the new chapter, new students coming in with a new set of interests. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Do all this stuff virtually. So, Grand Krista, thank you very much, and please pass our thanks on to Karen. That was really good program.
Will do. I will see her bright and early in the morning. So.
Right, and if we can, there were several slides we'd like to see. Can you get a copy of that?
Yes, I will.
And do that with the email, as long as that link for the YouTube.
Yeah, I will. I will.
Great.
And then, yeah, I'll get with maybe Frank. I'll get with you on seeing what we can do about getting it out.
Okay, very good.
I know this is getting recorded. Are we going to put this on like the Facebook page, or what are we going to do with this recording?
I guess that's really up to, I think we have to check with Karen before we do anything with it, before we make it public.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of, if there's anything priority stuff in there.
Okay.
So
right.
how do we, can you take a list of the people? Can you do that? Who the participants were? I know we had 48 at one time.
Wow.
Okay.
Is that possible?
I'm not 100% sure how we do that on Zoom, but I will figure it out.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Much. Everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
All. Take care.
Thank
All
you
right,
very
thank you.
much.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day. Be safe.
See you later, guys.